How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I go by Spider here, and in this video we're going to be breaking down the All-Star League Season 2, week number 6. Yes, week number 6, going up against Hutch and the Miami Dolphinions. So he's got a team of Great Tusk, Florges, Greninja, Ogerpon, Heartflame, or Hearthflame, however you pronounce it, Arcaludon, Gyarados, Kilowattrel, Houndstone, Carkol, Oranguru, and Venusaur. His Terra captains are going to be Gyarados with Terra Water, Flying, and Dragon, and Kilowattrel with Terra Flying, Ground, and Ice. That's a mouthful to say. So immediately on his team, I see that he's got a few Spike Setters with Greninja and Ogerpon. He does have Rapid Spinners in Great Tusk and Carkol. I don't really expect to see Carkol, but it's a Rapid Spinner at that. And I think Terra Kilowattrel, specifically Terra Ground, makes a lot of sense into my team. I also think that Terra Gyarados is always going to be a threat. I'm not really expecting Terra Dragon on that. I'm expecting either Water or Flying, probably Flying, if he decides to Terrastallize Gyarados instead of Kilowattrel. I could see either. I'm surprised, that it's not Terra Ground as the last Terrastallization option for Gyarados, but I guess he wanted the resistances that Dragon provides. Also, another note is that Houndstone is pretty good into my team. I do expect Houndstone to come for sure. There's no sand on this team, obviously, but I think just a defensive, fluffy, boosted Houndstone makes a lot of sense because it can Will-O-Wisp a lot of things on my team. I think that would help against something like a Mandibuzz, an Iron Boulder, and Annihilate for sure. Priority Shadow Sneak is also really good into my team, in my opinion. And yeah, it just takes physical hits really well with that fluffy ability. So we're going to kind of try to prep around that thing for sure. I also think Bulk Up, Rapid Spin potential on the Great Tusk is very scary. Obviously, Great Tusk is going to be a problem. And then we are bringing one Pokemon off the bench that has not seen any action this season. I'm really excited to see that. I'm really excited for that to happen, specifically there for the Kilowattrel. So without further ado, let's get right into the team. And I just realized that as I was talking, the screen went dark, but that's okay. So obviously you see the 6 there. Starting off, we're going to have our beautiful Cryogonal with the heavy duty boots and the Rapid Spin, Recover, Freeze Dry, and Reflect. This Pokemon's going to have 248 EVs into HP, 148 into defense, 76 into special defense, and 36 into speed. The speed hits 255, which is specific. It's the same for Annihilate. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, I believe it's for a Gyarados and a Great Tusk, who both want to outspeed a max speed Iron Boulder at +1. So obviously Great Tusk can Rapid Spin, get up to +1 speed. Same for Gyarados. Well, Gyarados can Dragon Dance, but at +1 speed, they need to be at 254 to outspeed a max speed Iron Boulder. So we're 255 with Cryogonal here, hoping that works. Obviously, I can't tell you for sure, but that's the hope, right? The 76 in special defense with the Careful Nature. Wait, we're Careful and not Calm. I'm gonna have to change that. Okay, I'll make that adjustment real quick. With the Calm Nature and the 76 EVs in the special defense, we can take two Specs Hurricanes no matter what from a Kilowattrel, as long as he's not Terra Flying. I don't expect him to go Terra Flying. I think Terra Ground makes a lot of sense against my team, specifically for that Hisuian Gudra, and also if my Superior decides to Terra Fire, it'll also hit the Sandy Shocks really hard with the Terra Blast, Terra Ground. Same with Salazzle, same with Iron Boulder. My team's just in general pretty Earthquake weak, so I think Terra Ground, or pretty Ground weak, so I think Terra Ground makes a lot of sense. Also, Terra Electric Araquanid I am bringing, so that would make me even more vulnerable to a potential Terra Ground Kilowattrel. So this Pokemon is great for that. I initially had a Wigglytuff. Shout out to Brian, BGC0, who convinced me otherwise to go Cryogonal. I'm really excited to use it, even if it doesn't work out. It's still really cool. It opens up a slot for Mandibuzz because I needed hazard removal, and this gives me obviously the hazard removal. He does have a Ghost type in Houndstone. I don't really care. I think Reflect's a good. It's a good last move here because obviously this Pokemon is very weak on the physical defense side, so it helps this Pokemon out, but also helps the rest of my team against something like a Great Tusk or an Ogerpon or a Gyarados, so that can be really clutch actually. Next I'm going to talk about Mandibuzz. It is a Rocky Helmet set here, just physically defensive. We have no real special EV spread here. This thing just is really good against the Grey Tusk and the Ogerpon, and potentially the Gyarados and the Houndstone. It really takes a lot of physical hits. Like I said, I don't really need Defog because I have the Rapid Spin on Cryogonal. And, you know, I just like the Toxic things. I consider Knockoff, but I think Toxic just makes a lot more sense. Being able to poison the floor just on switch in is great. I can U-turn on a bunch of things. I can Foul Play to make sure I get big damage off on that Ogerpon that tries to set up on me potentially. And same with Gyarados. So Gyarados can't really switch in, or it can't set up on me. Like if it is a substitute Gyarados, otherwise I'm screwed. Like I could Toxic, but if he subs on the Toxic, then I'm in a lot of trouble if I don't have Foul Play. So Foul Play is definitely great there. I think U-turn is just a great move to have on Mandibuzz because if it's able to force out something like a Great Tusk or an Ogerpon, and I know it's going to do that, I can just get the quick U-turn off. Obviously, it would be great to predict the floor just coming in and Toxic that thing, but if that thing's already poisoned or otherwise statused, we can just U-turn that time. Next up, we're going to talk about Salazzle. This is an air balloon set. I really like Salazzle in general, but I like it against this team because he doesn't really have very many walls to completely wall it, I guess, if that's the way of saying it. Obviously, the Greninja and Kilowattrel will outspeed me. I'm fine with that. I'm just going to deal with that as it goes. But everything else we outspeed, and we kind of bulldoze through his team after a Nasty Plot. So obviously, the air balloon is nice to be able to avoid potential ground type moves from, you know, like an Earthquake Gyarados, giving like a Terra Ground Kilowattrel. If we know its specs and it's locked in Terra Blast, it's a free switch in to just bring in Salazzle and then Nasty Plot. He also has potential Stomping Tantrum on the Ogerpon, but it is very important to notice or to remember that Ogerpon and Great Tusk can both boost their speed. So they could, you know, Ogerpon could Trailblaze, break my, pop my balloon, and then Stomping Tantrum, and that's a problem. Great Tusk can do the same thing with Rapid Spin. So, you know, it's a little risky, but I think if we're able to get a Nasty Plot off, we run through this team, and we're just going to have to play smartly around Greninja and Kilowattrel. We've got 200 EVs in speed with a Timid Nature, 212 special attack EVs, and 96 defense. The defense is mainly so that we can, you know, try to set up on the Houndstone potentially. So if the Houndstone goes for Poltergeist, it's going to pop our sub, and then it can't use Poltergeist again because I won't have an item for it to Poltergeist. So I'm hoping that I can take a Poltergeist into 2 Shadow Sneaks, and that will help me. Oh yeah, also we have Flame Charge. So ideally, I go for the Nasty Plot as he Poltergeist, and then he Shadow Sneaks as I Flame Charge, right? Because I'm assuming it's going to have Poltergeist, Shadow Sneak, Body Press, and Will-O-Wisp. I'm going to expect that set. So if I go for, like I said, a Nasty Plot, and then he Shadow Sneaks, and I Flame Charge, I'm up to +1 speed, and then nothing outspeeds me, pretty much, unless he's scarfed on the Greninja or Kilowattrel, which I don't expect. I mean, it would make sense because for Kilowattrel, because I could be Iron Booster on the Boulder, but I just don't expect it, to be honest with you. So then we can take one more Shadow Sneak with the defense investment, hopefully, if he's not invested, which again, I don't expect him to be. I expect him to be a defensive Houndstone. And then we're at +1 speed, +2 attack. Yeah, we're at low HP, but if you look at his team, he doesn't really have that much priority once Houndstone goes down. He's got Water Shuriken, Greninja, I guess, but besides that, there really isn't much there. And Water Shuriken is not a very common move to see. So, yeah, hoping to pull off a really fun little sweep there with the Salazzle, because we don't really need anything besides our dual stab. Okay, next up is our Araquanid. This is really exciting. We've got 248 HP, 36 attack, 76 defense with the Impish Nature, boosting our defense, and 148 special attack. The defense investment is essentially there to be able to take a +1 Jolly Earthquake from from the Gyarados. So we're hoping he's Maxi? We're hoping he's Moxie so that we can potentially 2KO him with a Terra Electric, Terra Blast, or OHKO him if he doesn't Terrasilize. I'm expecting him to Terrasilize, but if he doesn't, that would be obviously ideal. Hopefully he goes for Terra Flying into the Terra Blast as we Terra Electric, get the resistance, and then we're golden. But you know, I'm not necessarily predicting that. We are Assault Vest here because that's, you know, it's just good to be Assault Vest, I think, against this team, especially for the Kilowattrel, for the Greninja. We don't really have the best Greninja switch-ins at this point, so Araquanid's great for that. We can Mirror Coat, take those special hits, deal a lot of damage back. I want an Infestation on the Archaludon switch in potentially, so that I can trap that in and do a lot of damage. I don't really care if he gets stamina boost. I can just revenge him with Salazzle. That's not really a problem for me. And the Terror Blast is mainly just there for Greninja and the Gyarados. That's about it. We Liquidation everything else. If we want to trap, like I said, if we want to trap Archaludon, we can Infestation. We don't really need anything else on this set. I didn't really think Sticky Webs was valid against this team. He's got one of the best, probably the best spinner in the game, being Grey Tusk. And I believe he brought Carkol last week, so I can't count that thing out either. Next up, we've got Iron Boulder, which is kind of an interesting set here. We've got the Swords Dance Close Combat, Rock Blast, and Psycho Cut with the loaded dice. Like I said, I'm heavily predicting Houndstone to come to this game. Rock Blast will not be affected by Fluffy, because in order for Fluffy to double your defense against an attack, it needs to be a contact move. Rock Blast is not a contact move. So even with 5 hits, we're not OHKOing Houndstone, but if he's at around 70 to 75%, and he switches into a Anti-Sword Stance, we're in a great spot if we're able to knock that Pokemon out. I think it does in the range of like 65 to 80% with the Rock Blast. If I get 5 hits, I think. Yeah, it's still really bulky, but if we can get past that Pokemon, there really is not much in my way. Obviously, I have enough speed to outspeed Greninja, which exhausts almost all of my leftover EVs. I only have like 16 in HP. But besides that, man, we're kind of going crazy. Obviously, the Terra Ground Kilowatt Roll may be an issue, but we're hoping to get rid of that Pokemon by the time I bring in this thing. And yeah, just Swords Dancing. After Houndstone goes down, we're looking pretty. Close Combat is obviously there to hit the Archaludon, but if that Pokemon doesn't have any stamina boost up, we're good. Now, obviously, if he comes in on a Rock Blast, it's going to get like +4 or +5 defense, and that's going to be an issue. But we're hoping to avoid that, because I don't think that's going to be his initial switch in. It could be, for sure, but if it is, then we'll just have to play around that, I guess. Last but not least, we have the Annihilate with the Salac Berry. We are Endure, Bulk Up, Rage Fist, Close Combat, hitting the 255 speed like I alluded to last, talking about the Cryogonal, I believe. Yeah, so we've got 248 HP, so just max HP, 156 in speed, and the rest in special defense, 104 in special defense with a Careful Nature. Basically just trying to take as many hits as possible. I'm able to bulk up in front of a few things. One being, obviously Carkol, right? And probably Venusaur as well. Archaludon I could probably set up against. I should be able to outspeed Grey Tusk and Gyarados, and I can bulk up. The thing about bulking up against Gyarados is obviously it's kind of risky because he's Dragon Dancing, and if he gets a crit before I get a crit, we're in trouble. But I'm boosting my defense and attack, while he's only boosting his attack and speed. So he will be outspeeding me after the first Dragon Dance, but I'm boosting my defense and he's not, so it should be a winning battle for me, again, as long as he doesn't critical hit me. And especially if he's going to be attacking me, it's just going to be boosting my Rage Fist, which is going to be really helpful. And then Endure, just to obviously live a hit. And once I'm at +1 speed, I am rolling. So obviously we have to be aware of a potential Will-O-Wisp on the Houndstone. We have Water Bubble Araquanid in that case, which is great. I feel like we do have certain precautions for the Houndstone. But again, this should be our win con, I think. If we're able to use it properly like we've been able to use it the past few weeks, get some boost on it, maybe get a bulk up or two up, Endure, get the Salac Berry boost. Again, only priority is Houndstone. If Houndstone goes, and Greninja, I'm going to hope he doesn't bring Water Shuriken Greninja, because that would kind of mess up my whole day. I feel like if there's one Pokemon we're under prep for, it may be Greninja, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Now, I will be a little straightforward here. I don't feel like I'm necessarily, focused on this week of the ASL, this particular battle, as much as I have been for the last few, just because a lot's going on. I have a different league that is starting up. I'm not going to get into that, but I also have the WPF week number 9, and that's a pretty big game. It's the last game of the regular season, and it's a winner go home type of thing. So if we win, we make the playoffs. If we don't, if we lose, we probably don't make the playoffs. So my focus has been on that. I've done several mocks for that. I haven't done a single mock for this game. I'm recording this Tuesday night. I have to battle tomorrow night. Just trying to get it done with. I can survive a loss here. I'm already 4-1, but a loss in the WPF would be pretty rough because I do want to make playoffs in that league for sure. Now, if you pay attention to my channel, you will know that well, maybe you won't, but the WPF battle has already happened, or it's already been uploaded. I have not had the battle yet. I have the battle Sunday, so I don't know. But by the time this video goes up, the WPF video will already be on my channel. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this. I still want to battle. I still want to have a lot of fun and try to win this one. It would mean a lot, obviously, but it's not the end of the world to win or lose this one. Hoping to have fun with Cryogonal, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna cut the video right here, and I will see you guys in the battle. All right, here we are in the battle, going up against Hutch. Obviously, this is gonna be a voiceover because, well, I just didn't have the ability to do live comm. There were a few things going on at the time, and you know, I just thought I'll do a little post commentary and let you guys know my thoughts and everything. So. Anyway, my opponent team brings a team of Greninja, Houndstone, Gyarados, Kilowattrel, Great Tuscan, Archaludon. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. I did expect the Houndstone heavy, but looking at his team, there really isn't much for Cryogonal. No Ogerpon, which is kind of nice for me. No Venusaur, Oranguru, or Carkol. That's the other three that he did not bring. So, or is there 4? Oh yeah, no Florges. So yeah, Freeze Dry is very free. I got the little good luck, have fun graphic there, which is kind of funny. But yeah, he's gonna lead Kilowattrel. I figured it was either gonna be Kilo or Greninja. This is fine. This is actually probably better because you can't get, well, yeah, I get it, it's probably better because he is gonna U-turn. I do the little calculation on that and see that he's just timid with no attack investment. So. This is really his only switch in. It's going to be this Archaludon. Not that nothing else can take the hit, but nothing else really wants to take the hit. The only thing that, it's kind of crazy, the only thing that doesn't take super effective damage from that, outside of the Archaludon, is going to be the Houndstone. But he really wants the Houndstone for later against, you know, my Boulder and Annihilate. So after, you know, some deliberation, I obviously see that, you know, I calc that, and that's obviously going to be like a specially defensive Assault Vest Archaludon. So I'm going to go straight into my Araquanid and try to deal with this thing one-on-one. He's going to predict that and go for Thunderbolt, so it's a good play on my opponent's part. And I calc that again just to make sure that he's got no investment. So that's kind of ideal for me. I'm hoping he stays in this turn because I do plan on clicking Infestation to try to trap this Pokemon in. Not sure exactly what he would want to bring in against this, but, you know, we are Assault Vest, so we'll be able to take a few more Thunderbolts at least. So I do Infestation here. I gotta be patient with this because I don't want to scare him out, at least. I want to be able to damage this thing a lot and hopefully knock it out. That is quite a disgusting sound, if I do say so myself. I don't know why they had to make it such a bad noise, but you know, whatever. But yeah, after some deliberation, I'm just gonna stay in a Mirror Coat here. I was really hoping he would click Thunderbolt and not Body Press. Now, obviously, I did not want to Terrastalize here because the less I take from a Thunderbolt, the less damage I do with Mirror Coat. I wanted to take as much. Ideally, he gets a crit there so that, you know, and I'd still live it, right? And then I'd knock him out with a Mirror Coat. But obviously, that's wishful thinking. Now, at this point, I realized that he's probably gonna Body Press because he doesn't want to get hit with another Mirror Coat. So I just click Liquidation here, expecting that. A +3 Body Press by my calculation still does not kill me because I am still resistant to that. I figure for a second I might be able to go into Annihilate here to get a free switch into that. But to me, I didn't want to risk it. I don't want to take unnecessary damage on my Araquanid. He does get a critical hit there to knock out my Araquanid. I'm not sure if it really mattered because Liquidation obviously doesn't kill. He's a +3 defense. The Infestation damage afterwards might kill though, and that's kind of what I was annoyed by. And I would have had another opportunity to just go Annihilate next turn, which I could have done, but that crit kind of negates that option. So it is what it is. The only difference is that now he gets the switch initiative because I'm going to bring in something to revenge kill the Archaludon, and so he will be able to kind of take advantage of that kind of momentum, I guess. So I do go into Salazzle here. I am floating with my Air Balloon, and I do just click Flamethrower. The count kind of scared me because I don't know, for whatever reason, it looked like Flamethrower might not kill, which is just hilarious, but it does like 21 or 22% max or minimum, so it obviously kills him. If he's in the red, that means he's at under 20%. So yeah, Salazzle picks up that kill, so we are at 5-5. And now, as you can see, I'm snacking away over there, as always. So he's going to bring in Shimada, which is going to be the Greninja. And at this point, I'm expecting probably an offensive Greninja. And if it's offensive, my best switch-in is going to be, obviously, Cryogonal. I don't really expect it to be a physical attacker. Greninja would have been a great switch-in, but obviously it's gone. I think I'd still take the trade of Arachnid for our Calodon. But I do end up going Cryogonal here. The only thing that could potentially 2KO me here would be like a Specs or modest Life Orb Hydro Pump. But he does just go for Surf, getting that 100% accurate move. As you can see by my reaction, I did not expect it to do that much damage. It did about 39% to me, or 40% to me, and with that damage I know that he's timid Specs, because we didn't see a Life Orb, so I know he's going to be timid Specs, because he wouldn't risk getting outsped by Superior and Salazzle, right? So he wants to get that timid nature off. He does Surf there, which was kind of bold, but at the same time not really, because he doesn't die to a Freeze Dry, and I get a lot of damage back unless I'm offensive. You know, if I was offensive he might drop to it, but obviously I'm not, right? So but yeah, because of that, I'm just going to click recover again. There's really no reason not to. I want to make sure I'm still in range, or I don't want to be in range of 2 Surfs. So even if he switches, it's still decent for me. I just want to make sure I'm still healthy. So I do recover again as he does Surf. Excuse me, it's very late as I'm doing this voiceover here. I do just get off the recover though, and get some health back, and I click recover again because I figured, you know, he may Surf again. He's done it twice. I'm not too sure. At that point, I'm still probably out of crit range, so it makes sense for him to switch there. And you know, in hindsight, I was like, all right, that's not ideal for me. But looking back on it, it probably just makes sense. Even if he is going to switch just to recover, it's worth getting the health back. I don't really need the chip on Great Tusk, as you'll see, because my Mandibuzz completely walls this thing for sure. So I do end up going Mandibuzz. He clicks Rapid Spin, and by the damage, he did like 8% to me, dude. So by the damage, it tells me he's not offensive. So that's good to know. He's going to get damaged by the Rocky Helmet. And at this point, since our Calodon's gone, I am just free to Toxic. I didn't want to U-turn in case he clicks Bulk Up here. And I was actually kind of, you see me praying here because I really didn't want to see the Substitute. But again, looking back on it, if he's Rapid Spin Substitute and then he's going to be Bulk Up, like he's got one other move, that's not really a set that would work, especially if he has no attack investment. Anyway, I mean, it would have been nice here, but yeah, like I said, I doubt that would really be a thing. So it does go kill Wattrel hard. I do get a poison off on it, which is great. It is a pivot Pokemon, so it's not really going to be affected by that by too much, but it is still nice to get some sort of chip on really anything. So I do go back straight into my Kraken Stark. He's going to U-turn, so a good play from my opponent. At this point, we've seen just U-turn, so I'm not sure he may have Volt Switch, although he probably would have gone for it if he had it, because it obviously does more since he's Stab, or maybe he thinks it just does more to Cryogonal since Cryogonal is such a better special defense stat than physical, base-wise. So, but anyway, I'm going to go hard into Mandibuzz yet again. It's a free play for me, as long as I see the same thing. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say the same thing. I do see a Stealth Rock here, which is a little bit frustrating. I do have, Boots Cryo, but he does have a spin blocker with the Houndstone. I'm going to click U-turn here. I think it's just the best play. I think Toxic's way too obvious to click again, and it's just really easy. I will not ever outspeed this Pokemon as long as he's not negative speed. So even if he stays in and attacks me, I take any one hit and then U-turn out. So actually, I probably take 3 hits from that specific Great Tusk. He does go Cryo here. He does go kill Wattrel. I'm going to go straight into my Cryogonal. No pain, no gain. So we're going to do the same thing. I don't know why I try to deliberate here. There's really no reason not to go Cryo. I'm just trying to Rapid Spin the rocks away. Let's be honest here. Although this does give him the ability to go for a U-turn because he knows he outspeeds. I do click Freeze right here because I know that in all likelihood Houndstone comes in to try to spin block. And I can't really do that much against that. It's just kind of the way it is. But chipping down the Houndstone would be ideal for me, even if that means the rocks stay up. So let's see, he does go Grim Shady, and I know immediately that that's going to be Houndstone. We're going to freeze dry. Even if it wasn't, I hit anything else super effectively, I would gladly take the chip on anything else on his team. So that does about 20-ish% after leftovers. He's about 80%. And so obviously I can't rapid spin. I do some calcs and realize that I can just stand and click reflect here, because a body press even from a fully physically defensive Houndstone does like 30 to 35% to me with a reflect up. And we're going to see later on he's not fully physically defensive, so it would actually do less. So I'm going to go ahead and click reflect here, and stop the Houndstone from doing a lot of damage to me. So he goes for body press and he gets a crit. So initially, obviously that sucks, and because of that, kind of it had been kind of a boring game up to this point. Not boring, but just, I've been lulled to sleep by the monotony of it, I suppose. So I didn't really consider, and because of that crit, it kind of like put me into a shock phase. So I'm like, let me just kind of try to get a recover off and try to get as much health back as possible. And I completely forgot about the sneak. Now in prepping, I knew that this thing would bring sneak because it's too good against my team. It's great. It's great for Annihilate. It's great for Boulder. Just priority in general is great. So I knew he would have it. I just in the moment completely forgot about it, which is obviously a mistake on my part. Could have just gone Mana Buzz, got free chip on this thing, and gone from there. But anyway, I do realize at some point that I have a free reflect up with 3 more turns. So I figure Salazzle is a good thing to switch into. And here I just end up going for a flame charge. I figure he's probably not going to stay in, knowing that he can't spam Poltergeist, because once he hits me, the balloon's going to pop, and then he can't use that move. And but behind a reflect, it's just really not doing that much. So I'm going to flame charge here eventually, because I want to be able to outspeed everything no matter what. If he brings in Greninja hard, which would make sense since I'm obviously going to click a fire type move here. I wouldn't click a poison type move, right? But he is going to switch. He ends up not going Greninja. He goes Gyarados. I still think Flame Charge was the best play. It gets me up to +1 speed, and this might actually be a blessing in disguise, because if I had not gone for that, if I had gone for Nasty Plot, he then potentially goes for Dragon Dance, and at that point he does knock me out. Now here I'm not in range of a waterfall because the reflect is up, and he can't Earthquake me because I still have my air balloon. So since I Flame Charge though, it kind of dissuades him from Dragon Dancing, because I'm going to outspeed him anyway, even once he Dragon Dances, because I'm already at +1 speed, right? If I click Nasty Plot, like I said, the Sludge Wave doesn't knock him out. You're going to see that 2 don't knock him out. So he Dragon Dances that turn, and then I'm in a tough spot because he obviously has Moxie since he didn't Intimidate me. And Terra Blast does not get affected by Rocky Helmet. So I could have been in a world of pain if I Nasty Plotted that turn. And plus, getting 2 Sludge Waves off is better than 1 if the 1 doesn't kill, because I have 2 opportunities to get a 10% chance poison. So I obviously don't get it there. I'm going to live the waterfall. I have 1 more turn of reflect, which obviously doesn't matter because we're going to die to any 1 hit anyway. He could have Dragon Danced here, I suppose. Wait, no, because I'm still at +1 speed. I'm dumb. Like I said, it's late. He does waterfall there, knocking me out. But the key is he does not have the +1. He does not have the +1 speed. So he has the +1 attack, but I don't really care about that. So for some reason I act surprised there, as if I hadn't. Maybe I just didn't notice that he didn't get the Intimidate off. I don't know. So I believe at this point Annihilate outspeeds, but it's not a guarantee, because I'm not actually max speed on my Annihilate. I should outspeed him, but again, it's not really worth the risk. So let me just go Castly Rock. You know what also isn't the risk? Clicking a 90% accurate Rock Blast here. But I do it anyway, because why not live a little? I don't know, maybe he saves this Gyarados, but probably not. I think it's not worth the risk. I think it's more likely that he just stays in, and that's exactly what he does. That turn took a while for my opponent, so maybe they were trying to see if they could muster up a switch there, but it's probably in their best interest to just let that thing go down. So yeah, next up, he's going to bring in Grim Shady. Now, at this point in the game, I'm going to need some sort of luck. Because it's a Specs Greninja, I think it makes a lot of sense for it to be Water Shuriken. which is really cool, which would obviously hurt my chances of sweeping with Annihilate, because Annihilate has to get really low to proc the Salad Berry. Once it's that low, it could just drop immediately to a Shuriken. So trying to kind of figure out this end game. He's going to go with the Will-O-Wisp there. Good play on my opponent's part. This upcoming turn, I actually click Roost because I figure on some chance maybe he stays in and attacks for whatever reason. Maybe he misplays there. Maybe he goes Great Tusk for whatever reason. Again, I'm not too sure. But basically, I Roost because no one hit will be able to knock me out. Kilowattrel can't knock me out with anything. A Specs Ice Beam from Greninja, since it won't be Protean boosted, it will not knock me out. And I can just U-turn the next turn anyway. So on the off chance he, on the off chance he chokes and doesn't go into either of those Pokemon here, I can get a Roost off and heal up my health and be just fine. It's not really going to end up mattering, but yeah. So he does switch, and he does go Kerchoff, which is going to be that big Kilowattrel. I don't know why Kilowattrel's so much larger than Mandibuzz. Maybe, like, its wingspan is crazy. That's got to be like a 8-foot wingspan, bro. Maybe even more. Anyway, that's random. I'm just trying to figure what to say in between these. I'm going to U-turn. As, obviously I will be able to live this. It is a timid Kilowattrel, obviously, to outspeed the Iron Boulder and my Salazzle and everything in between. So, and probably, the Superior as well. If Superior is max speed, I actually outspeed this. Maybe I should have brought Superior. Well, no, I wouldn't outspeed unless he was modest. But I think Superior would have probably done more than Salazzle, to be honest. But, obviously hindsight's 2020. We go into the Boulder here. Now, I know I can live any one hit based on the damage from Mandibuzz. And by the way, Mandibuzz is dead once it comes in because rocks are still on the field. I take 25%. I am at 97 out of 403, so I always died with Stealth Rocks there. So that Pokemon's effectively gone. The only thing it can do for me now is a sacrifice, or a little death fodder to get some momentum, but that's probably not going to happen at this point. So it does go Grim Shady. This is perfect for me. I get a big Rock Blast off, except I miss. And, it really sucks because if I get that Rock Blast off and I get even 4 hits, you're going to see he's not fully physically defensive. So if we get 4 hits, we do about a little over 40%. He gets lefties. If we hit him again the next turn with that, maybe we get 5 hits there, right? I'm loaded dice, so it's either 4 or 5. So let's say 9 hits total. That it might not knock him out, but it comes really close to that, and then I go Annihilate, and I'm in a much better position. But because I missed, he's able to burn this turn. Of course, he doesn't miss. He can't miss a Will-O-Wisp, but we can miss a 90% accurate move. And this turn he is going to Shadow Sneak. Now he does knock me out here, but I really do think that 6% from the burn is crucial. I think if I had landed that first one, he still probably would have burned me. Maybe not, but he has some attack investment because otherwise he wouldn't be. See, you can see I thought it was a crit at first, but he must have some attack investment. I'm unsure. Obviously, I couldn't know. I didn't see his team afterwards at this point. I mean, because of all the hacks, I didn't really care for looking at his team right afterwards, as you can imagine. So at this point, I wanted to try to get out of here with a few more kills. So I'm just going to bulk up. Hope he misses a Will-O-Wisp or something like that. So that really sucks, man, but it is what it is. We're going to go bulk up here, obviously, and Survey says, I do a little movement here trying to confuse the Houndstone. The Houndstone does connect with the burn, and that's kind of going to be the dagger here. Now, again, I am trying to, get as many kills here as possible, so I'm just going to bulk up again to kind of offset the burn, handicap, I guess. I don't know what to call it. You go -2 in physical attack when you get burned. So now I'm at +2 with the bulk up. So I'm at +0, ±0 attack and +2 defense at this point. Kerchoff comes in. I do the calc. I'm pretty sure I live a Hurricane. It's kind of close at this point because of the burn damage. But if I live a Hurricane, I can, as long as I don't get confused, I can just Rage Fist and knock out the Kilowattrel. But yeah, we're going to see. Only time will tell, right? I'm not spoiling this turn. This is even funnier. He's going to go for Air Slash, so that's weaker. We're going to take that just fine. and we get flinched. And I smash my desk because I'm very upset about that. And you can see the camera, my face cam actually moves up a little bit, so it's at a weird angle now. Because, you know, obviously that's just the nail in the coffin, right? He's going to... So the burn damage will actually proc the Salic Berry, which is pretty cool. So if I had Rage Fisted, instead of getting flinched, I would have knocked out the Kilowatt Roll, and then I potentially take 3 hits from the Water Shuriken. But because the extra 6% from the burn damage, because of an extra turn went by, I'm going to end up not being able to... I'm just going to spoil it. I die to a 3-hit Water Shuriken, and that's going to be the game because Manabud's going to die to rocks. But again, I don't win this game anyway, but if I do live the 3rd Water Shuriken hit, I could potentially knock out... Well, I would be able to knock out the Greninja, and then it would just be a 2-0. But unfortunately, it's going to be a 3-0. GG's to Hutch. It's not his fault. He hacked me. It happens. Of course, he does get the 3rd hit. We're going to go down to 4-2, but that's just fine. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.